You are in a heated argument. You are furious. You have the facts, the logic, and the righteous indignation to absolutely dismantle the opposition. You open your mouth to deliver the final blow, but instead of a roar, your throat constricts, your vision blurs, your face gets hot. You aren't yelling. You are crying. It is the ultimate physiological betrayal. You feel weak, childish, and worst of all, your credibility evaporates. But here is the reality. You're not crying because you're sad. You're not crying because you are weak. You're crying because your brain has just suffered a neurological short circuit. To understand the angry cry, we have to look at the war inside your skull. In one corner, you have the prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of your brain, responsible for logic, emotional regulation, and impulse control. In the other corner, deep in the temporal lobe, sits the amygdala. This is your threat detection center. It is ancient, fast, and incredibly stupid. When you get angry, the amygdala hits the panic button. It screams threat and floods your system with catecholamines, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Ideally, your prefrontal cortex steps in to regulate this surge. But in a high-stakes confrontation, the amygdala hijacks the system. It effectively cuts the power lines to the CEO. You are now operating on raw, unrefined instinct. This is where the mechanics get interesting. Anger triggers the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. Heart rate spikes, pupils dilate, muscles tense. You are revving the engine in neutral, pushing the RPMs into the red. But the body cannot sustain maximum voltage forever. If the sympathetic system stays pegged at 100% for too long, you risk biological damage. So, your body pulls the emergency brake. This is the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. But it doesn't engage gently. Because the fight signal was so intense, the biological counterswing has to be equally violent to compensate. The tear ducts, the lacrimal glands, are innervated by the parasympathetic system. When your brain slams on the brakes to prevent you from physically exploding, it forces a massive release of acetylcholine. This triggers the tears. The crying is not an emotion. It is a biological coolant. There is a chemical utility here too. Unlike reflex tears, like from cutting onions, emotional tears have a different chemical composition. They contain higher levels of manganese and adrenocorticotropic hormone. Literally, you are sweating out stress hormones through your eyes. The act of crying also stimulates the production of oxytocin and endorphins, your body's natural painkillers and sedatives. Psychologically, this often correlates with frustrated helplessness. It occurs when you are analytically right, but the outcome isn't changing. Your brain perceives a deadlock, a problem that logic should solve, but isn't solving. The cognitive dissonance is painful, and the system crashes. So, the next time you feel that sting in your eyes during a fight, stop judging yourself. It's not a character flaw. It is simply your autonomic nervous system trying to keep your engine from overheating. You aren't breaking down. You're resetting. Take a breath. Let the chemicals do their job. Then, get back to the argument.